Okay, so for building a fountain using the Align tool, the whole point of this lesson is to practice using the Align tool. So we're going to follow the directions over here on the left to help us get through this exercise. So first it says that we are going to practice moving, rotating, and scaling the objects and using the Align tool on this project. So we go to the next page and it says to select the largest pool down here. So we click on it, then it says to hold the shift button and click on the largest part of the column, the lower part of the column, and you can see it's highlighted here in purple. Okay, so then it says to go ahead and select the Align tool, and you can see that the black circles appear around the two objects, but we don't want the two objects to move towards each other in the middle here. We want them to move around this column, which is already here. So you notice if I put my mouse on it, you can see there's little dots down here. So if I click on the column, it's actually going to now align the pool to where the column is. And I want to center it and center it on this column. Now that we've done that, we move on to the next step here, and it says to, we've already done all these steps. Okay, so now it says to do the same thing with the small pool. So now that we have finished aligning the large pool on the bottom, we're going to click on the small pool, hold down shift, and it tells us to then align it to the column in the middle here. So as we're holding shift, we're going to click on the middle part of the column here. And you can see it's highlighted purple, so we got it right. And then we go ahead and click the Align button. And again, we don't want to align to have all these things move to the middle of each other. We want them to align around this part of the column. So we click on the column and we click Center and Center. Now the pool is hiding down here, but we want it up here. So we're going to click on this middle button to align it to the center of this part of the column. Now we move on, and it says to select the medium-sized pool. So we click on the medium-sized pool, and it says to move to the pool on the z-axis so it's between these two pools. So if we click on shift, hold it down and click on the middle column here and do align and click on the middle column again so that we're aligning around the middle column. We click to the middle, and then we want it up a little bit closer to the top here, so we click it on there. And now if I click off the shape, you can see my two pools here are a little too close together. So if I click on that shape and click on my black triangle, I can lower it a little bit so it looks a little more even between those two spaces. Now over here on the left, it tells us to go ahead and do the same thing to align the fountain top onto this top column. So if we click on the top, hold down shift, click on the top column, do align, click on the top column again so it aligns around the column. I have to adjust how I can view so I can see that I'm actually aligning it. Center, center, and top. Now if I click over here, you can see that it's not lined up perfectly. So if I click off and then click just that top part, use my little black arrow and pull up, I can align the top onto the top of the column here, nice and neat. And zoom out. Now it says the last thing that we have to do is to select our water and make it bigger. So if you hold down shift and then drag on one of those squares, it will actually scale it and keep it in the same size so that the water doesn't look all weird. Now if I were to not hold shift, this is what would happen. I'm going to get like oddball shapes and stuff, and it doesn't actually work the way that I want it to. So if I click undo, hold shift, and then just drag one corner, I get a nice spray of a water fountain here. You can decide how big you want yours to be. Now, once you've changed the size, you're going to hold shift and click on the top of the fountain here. Again, we're going to click our Align tool and click to the top of the fountain. We're going to click center and center. You see that the water is, not aligned. So let's try that one more time. Water, hold shift, click the top of the fountain, Align tool, click to the top of the fountain, and I'm going to align to the center, and then I want it up on the top. So again, I'm going to click this top button here, but you see it doesn't put it quite on top. So what I'm going to do is click off it, click directly on my water, and then use my little triangle and pull it up to the top again. And now if I do my little square view here, it aligns my view to my entire thing, and I am now done. That's all you got to do. So just make sure you use the align tool. If you make any mistakes, just make sure you hit the undo button so you can go back and fix those mistakes without losing your shape.